So this is Rashid again. We now have Comrade Sojourner Surreal. Um, she is at present the chairperson of the Revolutionary and Communal Black Panther Party. She worked for a substantial period of time on the ground in Newark, New Jersey, alongside Shaka Zulu. So she has an extensive amount of direct knowledge and experience of working with them. Comrade Sojourner, I want to ask you, as a member of the Revolutionary and Communal Black Panther Party, as well as a prior member of the New African Black Panther Party, to
Okay.
give sort of an introduction, of yourself and your experience in working with Shaka, how long you worked with him on the ground, if you would.
All right. This is Comrade Sojourner. I here in Newark, and I worked alongside Shaka since about July 2019 until the split. Um, I started out just as a member of UPM and became a member of the steering committee, and then on to become general secretary and part of the secretariat. So I worked very closely with Shaka. We had a small group, and yeah, it was a few of us there working diligently. And I have close contact with Shaka and seen the way that he was running the organization.
Okay, I want to establish I have not given you any statement as to what you should say regarding Shaka or what you're going to talk about at this point. Have I, nor have I given you an idea of what I'm going to ask you, have I?
No.
Okay. You have worked alongside me for a little while, have you not?
Yes, I have.
And you've had an opportunity to observe, the way that I conduct myself and, some experience with me as a person.
Yes, I have. I've been trying to think when we first came in contact. I would say sometime in 2020. So it's been a while, even while we were still a part of UPM and NABPP. So we've been dealing with each other for a while.
Okay. You
Hmm.
got to you got to watch the video that Shaka recently posted on June the 1st, 2021, where he basically denounced me and he was talking about the split that took place, or rather the purge of him and Tom Watts and our reconstituting as the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party.
Yes, I did.
Do you agree with the things that Shaka was saying concerning me, my character? He said that specifically he described me as a sociopath, a narcissist, stating I had a personality disorder and I was involved in a lot of disruption in the New African Black Panther Party. Do you agree with those views?
No, I don't agree with any of those assessments. I haven't seen any of sociopathic behavior, narcissistic behavior. Largely, when I was watching it, I felt like he was projecting a great deal and trying to turn things to appear as if all the things that he was accusing, that he had been accused of, was things that actually are attributable to you. That's what I felt mostly when I was watching it.
So you feel the things that he was saying about me actually applied to him?
Yes.
Okay. Um, while we were involved in the New African Black Panther Party, a number of complaints came out against Shaka, and I want to list these complaints that led to the split or the purge. And he stated in his statement that the only reason that the split, as he called it, a coup attempt, the only reason that we separated from him was structural issues, or his saying that we objected to the way that the mass organization was organized and perhaps the New African Black Panther Party. He said there were no other reasons that justified the split. Do you agree with that?
No, I disagree with that because once you list the things that the criticisms that were raised against him, we'll see that there were many more reasons. It wasn't to do with structural issues, not for the most part. There was some discussion about there needed to be some structural changes made, but that was not the major crux of the criticisms.
Yeah, we definitely want to get Pitt on.
Okay, so I'm gonna probably just hang up and come back in with him through the call.
Okay, all power to the
Hello.
people. All right, look,
Hello, can you hear us?
we're trying to,
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah. All right, Comrade Pitt, listen, we're doing a tape discussion in response to the post that Shaka made. So I'm also trying to move kind of quick. I'm not gonna be able to call back in until 9:30, and the comrade is pressed for time because he has to go out of town tomorrow. He wants to have this wrapped up tonight and be able to put it all together tonight. So I'm gonna try to move quickly. All right, we now have Comrade Sojourner on with Comrade Pitt. Comrade Pitt is the Minister of Labor of the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party. He was previously on the Central Committee of the New African Black Panther Party as well. So I wanted to continue with the particular question to Comrade Sojourner. Sojourner, among the charges that were leveled against Shaka, if you recall, there were a number of complaints and criticisms of him for abuses of women. Is that not correct?
That's correct.
And there were complaints of his repeatedly misappropriating and stealing money that had been donated or raised for work for the New African Black Panther Party, correct?
Yes, that was also a criticism.
And also there was repeated complaints of his commander's behavior, his dictating to members of the United Panther Movement and others, and not following democratic centralism or the democratic rules and policies that govern the UPM, correct?
Yes, that's correct also.
And Shaka had systematically evaded and refused to answer to listen to these criticisms that came out of the UPM, even though it was agreed that he should listen to these criticisms and he was supposed to have been heard. A formal hearing was supposed to have been conducted against him, correct?
Right, that was the major problem. We couldn't even really schedule the meetings because he was so evasive. He was only answering my calls at one point. He came to one session and then he wouldn't come to the other. It was, he just really had decided, it seemed that he wasn't going to be held accountable or even criticized because he would just say that the criticisms weren't valid.
Okay, on the ground.
Mm-hmm. On the ground
in Newark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, working alongside Shaka. Did Shaka contribute to developing a base within the communities through the Serve the People programs? Did he assist in setting up the distribution programs and distributing food, et cetera, or did he just sit around and give orders and then just sit on a megaphone and yell at the crowd or yell at people passing by on the megaphone?
He assessed it, was set up a little bit, but for the most part, his role was like propagandist. He was mostly on the megaphone, making sure that people knew that we were in the area and, making sure that everything got recorded so that it could go on social media. Mostly the hands-on work was done by most of the other comrades and myself. Once,
Is this how things generally proceeded? Shaka would allow or cause everyone else to do the work while he was the showman who, stayed in the limelight or on camera? Is that how things generally work with him?
Pretty much, that was like his appointed role. Once the camera started rolling, then that was it. That was where he was going to be. And sometimes he would also have somebody following him with the camera, documenting him.
Okay. I want to let Comrade Pitt chime in for a moment. Comrade Pitt, you are familiar with me, from my being in prison in the Virginia Department of Corrections, where you were presently confined, are you not?
absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Okay, Shaka characterizes me as someone who is known to be narcissistic, a sociopath, having a personality disorder, and a number of other deviant tendencies. Do you find this to be true?
Actually, I find that to be true in appliance to him. The Rashid that I know, in fact, what attracted me to even reading more about Rashid's work was because everything that he was, writing about is not something that he just theorized about, but actually put to practice. And, Rashid is well known amongst prisoners, especially us behind these walls, because, he basically practices what he preaches. He's definitely not narcissistic and all these other things that Shaka mentioned. In fact, these things are exactly what Shaka is about.
Okay, Shaka stated that I influenced you as if I somehow tricked you into leaving the New African Black Panther Party. Is this true?
No, that's very false. First and foremost, I'm my own man. I make my own decisions. My decisions were not influenced by anybody. My decisions were influenced based on his conduct, which were in direct contradictions of what the party stood for, the 3Ps, and everything that he played a critical role in implementing. So in many ways, he was violating what he basically took an oath to really abide by. And, I just could not, in good conscience, continue to be in the party based on the numerous of cases that were presented against Shaka Zulu. And the moment that we did try to confront Shaka Zulu and practice democratic centralism, which is a core of what the party stands for, he declined and deflected on every corner. So there was no way. He basically declined to be held accountable, and he would deflect in every corner and blame other people and play victim. And there was just no way that I could continue being in the party in good conscience. So the best thing for me to do was to cut ties with him and that party.
Okay. Do you agree that Shaka basically had no contact whatsoever and refused to interact with party members, including Central Committee members who were inside the prison, such as yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Central Committee members back then were mostly composed with comrades behind these walls. And so it was very important for us to try to maintain contact with, the Central Committee members that were out there. And Shaka being out there in Shaka's position, it would be very imperative that we do keep in contact with Shaka. But so it would literally go months that I would try to get in contact with Shaka. So Jonna can attest to this. I would literally ask Jonna, hey, can you send him a text, tell him I'm trying to get in contact with him. I would literally try to circumvent and trying to get other people to send him a message that I need to talk to him. It's important. And at every corner he would deflect. He never responded. He never answered my calls. None of that. And, I think, given that, most of the CC members were incarcerated and, we have to be in contact with him. And, that lack of communication basically allowed him to basically, dictate what he wanted to do and try to shape the party how he saw it fit. And I think that's basically another reason why he basically did not want to maintain contact with comrades.
So would you agree that him and Tom basically monopolized the Central Committee by excluding other Central Committee members from being able to participate in Central Committee decisions and meetings and not responding to or communicating with you all?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's basically what allowed such a toxic environment to be created, is because just them two shaping the party how they saw it fit allowed for them to just basically do what they wanted to do without being held accountable at all. And so absolutely, I agree.
Do you find that I was a minority on the Central Committee in struggling against Shaka and Tom's behavior?
Do I believe you're a minority?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Yeah, well, Shaka tried to project the idea that... Okay, so, and I would add also Comrade Will, he was on the Central Committee as well. And most everyone who was on the Central Committee ended up resigning because of Shaka and Tom. Yourself, Comrade Jason Walker, he resigned. Comrade Will resigned. Comrade Ellis resigned. And also Comrade Reese resigned. And that was 5 people, including myself, that resigned from the Central Committee because of Shaka and Tom's behavior, correct?
Yeah, my resignation was simply based on, and it is on my resignation statement that I wrote. It was solely based on the conduct of Shaka Zulu and Big Tom and their leadership or lack thereof. Yeah, my resignation absolutely had no influence whatsoever from anybody or anything other than Shaka Zulu and Big Tom's conduct. And Rashid, by the way, did not play any role in my decision to step away. There was no way that I would remain in the party and continue my obligations with the party based on everything that was going on. There was no way I was going to do that in good conscience. So I decided on my own to step away from there and submit my resignation letter.
All right. So in general, I just wanted to allow people who were actual witnesses and participants in the processes that Shaka was speaking about, the situation related to Shaka, the situation surrounding the purge of Shaka and Tom and the reconstitution of our organization as the Revolutionary and Communal Black Panther Party. I would also like to get Comrade Sojourner's response. According to Shaka, he says that the Revolutionary and Communal Black Panther Party does not have any Serve the People programs, that we are not involved in any organizing in the communities, and that we're just a prison support organization. Do you find this to be true, Comrade?
I find that to be completely false. We have several Serve the People programs. We have a free grocery distribution on Saturday. We have a program where we serve hot food to the houseless and give them care packages, toiletries, towels, bedding, etc., try to connect them with resources. We do that every Wednesday. We also are establishing an e-tutoring program to help allay the concerns and help the performance of children that are doing virtual schooling. And we also have a community fridge. So we are definitely on the ground weekly in the community and, steadily trying to grow our presence in Newark. So that is completely false.
And he knows this to be false because he decided to set up his own attempts at trying to reconstitute programs on the ground right up the street from where I Serve the People programs are held. Isn't that true?
Yes, that's true. And in fact, directly following the split, he was very discouraging for us to continue some of our contacts that we had made along the way, and made a big stump that we need to move along to another side of town or something. And he's not even in the same place where he made a fuss about us being. So he just moves very, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm not finish. Yeah, so throughout his statement, he just made. Oh, go ahead, Comrade. Yeah, something you want to add, Comrade Pitt?
Yeah. So I was saying this that apparently he mentioned on this video that people have been asking what led to the split. So obviously people are seeing that something is wrong with this picture, and something that he's saying obviously does not add up, which is leading people to question what really happened. I did write a statement based on what happened and what led to the split, and why the split basically was inevitable based on Shaka's conduct and Big Tom. But in so many ways, and I just mentioned this not too long ago, that I'm glad that he is doing this in so many ways, because this is a desperate move. This is what you do when your back is against the wall. You try to throw shit on the wall and hoping that it sticks. And this is obviously a desperate move. It shows that he's being exposed and his back is against the wall. However, we have the truth and we have the lies. and the lies have finally caught up to him, and now that's what got him back into a corner.
Yeah, this. I would also add that there were a number of other blatant lies that he told that are easily disprovable. He stated that I had, in the articles that I wrote, claimed that he and Tom had expelled the entire inside New African Black Panther Party membership. And he referred to Comrade Pitt as having submitted a resignation letter which disproved those allegations, when in fact that is not what I said. And anybody can go back and read the articles that I wrote. Let's get this party started in the New African Black Panther Party, Tom Watson Party, when the people criticize the leadership liquidates the people. In each one of those articles, I clearly said that they expelled the outside membership because they didn't want to have a party-wide meeting and vote that would have elected a new party leadership. I never said anything about them expelling the inside party membership. And the reason that he made that bogus claim was so that he could refute something he invented himself that he knew he could disprove. He did not attempt to refute the position that they had expelled the entire outside party membership, which at the time included Comrade Sojourner, who's on the line right now. He claimed that I made remarks that he was a buffoon, an imbecile, and other things. There is nowhere written anywhere that I made any such remark. He said that I called Tom a pedophile. There's nowhere anywhere that I wrote or made any such remark. He claims that there are documents that established in 2008 that I supposedly said that I didn't believe that when Shaka got out, he would be able to carry out any political work with the party. That's another lie. And I call on him and I give my consent to produce that statement or that letter that I supposedly wrote saying that, because I never made that remark and he's blatantly lying. And there are multitudes of people who know my handwriting. If he has that letter, produce it.
Yeah, and he's repeatedly also
anybody. What were you saying, comrade?
Go ahead, comrade. No. I was saying that he has repeatedly said that he prevented a so-called coup of.
You have 1 minute remaining.
But let me say real quick. When we decided when we split, when I submitted my resignation letter, and when others submitted their resignation as well, we did not try to keep the name New African Black Panther Party. We did not even try to kick Shaka out. We simply walked away and formed the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party. There was no attempted coup. We simply resigned and moved on elsewhere. There was no attempted coup, so it doesn't even make sense that he's asserting such.
Yeah, I mean, this is they're liking to use dramatic language to make minor things involving them sound like something monumental. This is just Shaka's flair for, drama and dramatic descriptions of things, which, fits right with Tom. And basically everything that he said are, speaking points, or you can tell this is a bullet list
Thank you for using
of things
GTL.
that Tom created. And Shaka's just being the front man. Shaka's just being the front man vocalizing it. But I think that about sums everything up. I think we have, an extensive amount of responses, a range of different people with firsthand knowledge, very credible people who were involved firsthand with the events that he was talking about that refute everything that he said. I appreciate the opportunity to respond to all of this, fabrication that Shaka decided to go on, social media with. I appreciate the assistance of Comrade Will and everyone else who weighed in to give their account of things.
And is subject to monitoring and recording.
Sorry.
Thank you for using GTL.
All about
All right.
people,
Comrade Pitt is back.
All power to the people. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody who's taking the time to, contribute to this.